Elijah was a wooden Indian standing by the door. He fell in love with an Indian maiden over in the antique store. Elijah, just stood there and never let it show, so she could never answer yes or no. He always wore his Sunday feathers, held a tomahawk. The maiden wore her beads and braids, hoped someday he'd talk. Elijah, too stubborn to ever show a sign, because his heart was made of knotty pine. Poor Elijah, he never got a kiss. Poor Elijah, he don't know what he missed. Is it any wonder that his face is red? Elijah, that poor old wooden head. Elijah was a lonely Indian, never went nowhere. His heart was set on the Indian maiden with the coal black hair. Elijah, he stood there and never let it show, so she could never answer yes or no. And then one day a wealthy customer bought the Indian maid. He took her out to far away, but old Elijah stayed. Elijah, just stood there as lonely as can be, and wishes were still an old pine tree. Poor old Elijah, he never got a kiss. Poor old Elijah, he don't know what he missed. Is it any wonder that his face is red? Elijah, that poor old wooden head. Well, we got a little bit of snow today in Kempville, so I went down and shuffled out my neighbors down the road, and now I'm singing some karaoke tunes. Anyhow, come by some Dennis Ramsey paintings. I live at 27 Canaan, C-A-N-A-A-M Avenue, Apartment B, Kempville, Yellow House, White Trim. Sell folk art paintings and abstract art paintings. They'll set you back $100 each, up to $200 each. 902-365-5044. Anyhow, subscribe to all my videos on the YouTube channel. You notice when you get up in the morning, you just can't talk right or do anything right until you actually get 2 or 3 cups of coffee into you. Isn't that something? So when our deep sleeps, when we get up in the morning, our brain can't be working too good. Because me, every morning I get up, it takes an hour to 2 just to get focused. So that's not a good thing. Anyhow, please subscribe to all my videos on the YouTube channel. But a friend of mine said to me, he said, Dennis, do you realize everybody, meaning the whole world, all the peoples in the world, they only use 10% of their brain. Think about it. They're only using 10% of their brain. So what's the other 90% doing? I take it the other 90% is sleeping. Because if we're only using 10% of our brain, the other 90% is either sleeping or in a coma. But isn't that amazing to think that all us peoples only use 10% of our brain? Go figure, right? Go figure. Anyhow, if we were able to use the other 90%, we'd probably be millionaires or billionaires if we were able to use the whole brain. Most people are creative and smart, but it seems funny we use 10% of our brain, and the other 9% is either sitting idle or it's asleep. So the question is, is how do we use that other 90% of our brain? And that's what you gotta wonder. Now you take these real smart people like lawyers and doctors and psychiatrists and surgeons and whatnot, and scientists and engineers, they're probably able to use more, and I use the word more, than 10% of their brain. Because if they're that smart to be a doctor, lawyer, or an engineer, or an inventor, or scientist, they're probably using more than 10% of the brain. They're probably using, I'm only going to take a guess, imagine they're using 60 or 70% of the brain. Well, us folk artists like Dennis Ramsay are only using 10%. The average Joe is only using 10% of their brain. So that's interesting, isn't it? That's quite interesting. So today's topic, we're talking about the brain. If we're only using 10% of the brain, what is the other 90% doing? That's the question. What is the other 90% doing? Is it sleeping? Is it sitting idle? Or what's it doing? How do we use that other 90% of our brain? How do we develop that and use it? Anyhow, I think it's too late for us all, especially if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, or 70s, or 80s. I think the time would have been to use that when you were in your 20s or 30s. Anyhow, it's interesting. Now you take, there's a lot of good smart people out there, doctors, lawyers, psychiatrists, surgeons, engineers, scientists, inventors, and book writers and movie makers. I take it for granted they're using more than 10% of their brain. They're probably using 50 or 60, maybe 70% of it. So, how do you use the other 90% of your brain? That's the question. I try to use mine the best way I can. And anyhow, in 2018, I want to form a musical group. So I'm looking for a good lead guitar player. If there's any good lead guitar players out there, you got to know all your chords. We don't want to be singing a song like Helter Skelter or Sweet Child of Mine, then halfway through the song, you forget your chords. That's no good. You got to know all your chords. I'll sing lead vocals, but I need a good lead guitar player. We'll write songs and sing new songs for the world in 2018. I got the YouTube channel now, so we can put our music on there. Anyhow, I'm seeking a good lead guitar player. I want to give it a stab. I want to write and sing songs for the world. I want to give it a shot. Anyhow, if there's any good lead guitar players out there that know all your chords, and how to play most songs, that's what I'm looking for. Call Dennis Ramsay, 902-365-5044. Anyhow, music is fun, so I would like to write and sing my own songs. Anyhow, I wrote a small song yesterday. I don't know if I can find it. Still got to work it out, but anyhow, I'll sing you a couple verses. But music is quite fun, isn't it? Music's quite fun. Well, I'm a folk artist from Kempful Town, and it fits me to a T. I'm a folk artist from Kempful Town, and it fits me to a T. Why don't you come buy some Dennis Ramsay paintings from me? Come see me at 27 Canaan Avenue, Kempful Apartment B. Come see me at 27 Canaan Avenue at Kempful Apartment B. Come see me at 27 Canaan Avenue, Kempful Apartment B. Well, I'm a folk artist from Kempful Town, Nova Scotia, Canada, and it fits me to a T. Come buy some Dennis Ramsay paintings from me. That's a couple verses in the song. I just started to write that song, but I ain't done with it. Anyhow, I'm going to add some more lyrics to it. Oh, I got a dry throat, I gotta get a sip of this coffee. That's why when you're singing, you get a dry throat. The other thing, too, in the wintertime, you always got all the goddamn windows shut. And it's dry in here. And I'll tell you how dry this winter is. I was looking at my right leg yesterday, and the skin is dry. And if you get flakes right above your eyebrows like that, that means your skin is dry. The other thing, too, when you're indoors all winter, it's not healthy. It really isn't. Because you get dry skin. Wintertime sucks. I don't like winter, I really don't. And I don't even like this town of Kempville, to tell you the truth. But anyhow, the reason I don't like Kempville is the people that live here are too overbearing. They're too controlling. You're not allowed to do anything. For example, I'm only allowed to sing until 8 o'clock at night. That doesn't seem very fair, does it? That's not fair at all to me. I pay rent every month, like everybody else does, yet I'm only allowed to sing songs until 8 p.m. at night. I don't think that's fair at all. That's not fair. Because if you're trying to be creative, you might get a thought in your head and want to sing a song at 9 o'clock at night, you know what I mean, or at 10 o'clock. And that's not fair. Anyhow, the reason I'm not allowed to sing past 8 o'clock at night, because the old lady's daughter and kid moved in, so I'm under too many rules. It's too overbearing, and it's not fair to me. But you're allowed to make noise until 11 o'clock at night. That's in the bylaw anyhow. I think everybody knows that. But to record your songs, you need the creative time. You need that creative time. But anyhow, that's only my opinion.